Let me introduce you to our audience. Our audience, this is Maurik Dippel, our co-founder of Circlelytics, and we would be talking with him about, he would be talking about employee dialogue and collective intelligence. Maurik, stage is yours. We have already gave you co-host rights. Yeah, you could now show your screen.
All right, let's do so. Thanks for the introduction and hi to everyone. And I have a few slides and I do believe that we can have some questions along our way. So please let me know if you have some beautiful questions. So this is about collective intelligence, and let's jump to the first slide to explain a bit why we started Circlelytics and why we think the whole employee engagement market, people analytics market, will embrace more and more and more qualitative insights to lead change and to engage people. So surveys, this is not a surprise. We already know for 50 years, surveys don't do the trick. And why they treat people as individuals. So you only get individual information, usually on multiple choice and scoring. So you don't get any original new content coming from the audience. And worse is when you apply surveys for employee engagement, you lose the people because they know you won't follow up. Why don't you follow up? And why do employees know that? For a very simple reason, that research agency Gallup already investigates for now over 15, 20 years. People are more engaged, are more productive, etc., etc., etc. Only pluses, 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 if they, amongst other things, know that their opinions matter to the company they work for. And a survey doesn't do that. So let's go to reality. This is one of the leading employee engagement survey providers in the world. And I take that today off their website. And they still focus on surveys. 2012, they suck. 10 years later, we are. And the reality is that the majority of the employees is still only engaged a few times per year with survey questions that miss out on the one key thing that Gallup already confirms for some 10, 20 years. You want to know what people think. Find out why people aren't feeling that the company contributes to the development in this case. And so we are extremely puzzled while founding Circlelytics. Why don't engagement survey providers, why don't they embrace the opinions from people to solve this question, to find out the why behind matters, the why behind scores? Another example. Most of the systems and processes here support us getting our work done effectively. And it's not only this survey provider that asks questions like this and only capture a score. After the score, you don't know what to do. You should reevaluate your company systems and processes and potentially invest in new infrastructure support. Okay, well, we thought we have to change that. We have to enable people to express their opinion for questions that matter to the company and matter to them. So our software enables HR and senior management to ask questions such as, most of the systems and processes here support us getting our work done effectively. Please score and elaborate on your score by a clear, convincing, reasoned example to explain why. So we ask the people why. Explain in detail. Have an example. What's your recommendation? How do you solve that? Questions that matter. Open questions. And you can still look at the pages of these survey providers that they don't like open questions because you get a lot of open answers back. Why? because people love to express their opinions. They know why. They are the eyes and the ears of the company. They know the market, they know the customers, they know what's going on in the workplace, they know why people leave, the hidden reasons why people leave, the hidden reasons why people stay or consider to leave. They know it all. It's simply a matter of engaging the employees and ask them for the why, the open answer. So that's what we do. We ask people questions that matter and engage them deeply and get those qualitative insights. So we don't go from the step of asking individuals for their opinions only and then jump to a dashboard, add AI, machine learning, and natural language processing. Of course we do. But look at this. This is still individual intelligence, and it still sucks. It's still inferior. AI can't add semantics that's going on in the heads and the minds and the hearts of thousands of employees. AI cannot replace the semantic, the interpretations, the feelings, the thought process, and the progressional thinking of employees, of human beings. AI is incapable of doing that. Incapable, I think, for 50 years more to come. So we add an in-between step. This is the in-between step. I hope everyone can see it. Let's do a bit like this. So there's an in-between step. So what we do, and that's tapping into the knowledge and the collective intelligence of the people. We have a first round in which we ask them beautiful questions, usually 3. That's it. Focus. They have limited space to answer. They don't locate, they simply jump into the matter at hand. And they love it. So we engage them. We don't measure, we engage. We don't measure engagement, we do engagement. The second step is that all answers are redistributed according to a very complex algorithm that maximizes diversity of the sets that are put to the people. It's a very complex algorithm. It's no AI. There's floating things in dimension reduction. There's the Leiden algorithm in it. There are all kinds of things in it to maximize the diversity of all the sets that are brought back to the individuals. And they get to see a set of opinions anonymized from others. And there we start the sentiment analysis. We ask the employees, what's your sentiment with what you read here? More than 70% of the people reviews more than 20 items, 20, more than 20 items from other people on 3 questions. That's more than 60 items. They review in the second round more than 60 items. They give a vector, a plus or minus. They give an intensity between -3 and +3. They tag keywords, and they also explain why. And they type the why. So it's an impressive, deep investment that they do. And while we tap their knowledge and their interpretations, we see them slowly changing their minds as well. They think again about your topic. And while doing so, there's a massive collective and a massive enrichment taking place. All the open answers, all the open, unstructured data is initially structured, giving sentiment and priority by the employees themselves. So if you ask 2,000 employees on 3 questions, and on average, they review 40 items, they give a score, they tag words, and they type why, you have an extreme multiplier, and that intelligence is captured in a dashboard. So instead of only doing word count, we have weighted word count. Instead of only doing topic modeling, we have weighted topic modeling based on the enrichment taking place in the second round. So it's a bit like adding a flavor of Stack Overflow and have that enrichment taking place because people together form one big brain. And indeed, none of us are as smart as all of us. And that's very true. So we create one big network brain, and the qualitative insights are structured by the employees themselves. And after that, we add natural language processing, we add AI, and we add machine learning a lot. but based on the deep enriched information that people share. Consider it and compare it a bit with your own brain. So, and what I usually say to CEOs and senior HR, would your brain be a brain without synapses? And we learned now in the last month, some research was out there that synapses and neurons actually have a reciprocity. They have a one way and other way. They influence each other. So the synapses turn neurons into a brain. Collaboration and learning and listening turns employees into a brain. Individual employees that you approach with one-on-ones or with a survey, you approach them as neurons. Individual, loose, isolated, lonely neurons. It's a synapses that makes it a brain. So a bit of the mission of Circulytics, that you get that picture as a more holistic way of saying it qualitatively. We enable companies to ignite the power of the collective brain, capture and create deep qualitative insights. So we capture deep qualitative insights and we create deep qualitative insights to drive engagement, business and people forward. So let's see. A few, well, ignore the Dutch sentences. Maybe there are a few Dutchies in the crowd. And so what we show here, this is the data after the second round, based on the timing of people submitting their contribution in the first round. And what we do witness a lot in 6 years of data, over 2,000 dialogues, almost approaching 1 million employees joining in dialogues. And we have billions of data. It's extreme what they generate. So we do a lot of research and we see this a lot. The slower that people respond in the first round, they usually have a couple of days, the slower they respond, the higher their contribution score in the eyes of colleagues. And this is what we usually see. We see something else in the data. When we do at a closed skill, you can combine in Circulytics open and closed skill. You can set it with a first round and a second round. But in a second round, if you had in the first round, if you ask people, if you put a closed question to people and ask them, and please elaborate with an open answer why, you combine a closed and an open skill. That's a true gold mine. And then the tool allows you to ask to put that close score again to the crowd. So you get results like this. You have first a poll. So a majority says no. And then in the second round, they review each other's arguments anonymously. And they add that sentiment score, -3, +3, to a lot of opinions. And then we ask them again, does it make you rethink the question? And 20 to 40% of the people change their mind. So from majority against, you get a majority is in favor. And we see this happening a lot on multiple choice question that people can elaborate qualitatively. With a second round, they can redo the multiple choice question. 20 to 30% of the people change their mind. We see decisions going from 1, and on second, more valuable thoughts. A different decision is supported by the collective of the people, and different information surfaces, and even more accurate scores. So we are strangely positioned. And then a bit back to the to a bit of the data. If I still have some time left, let me check. Yeah, I still would have some time left. And then we dive into a few questions after I show you some visualization of data. So we are in this strange positioning of we engage the people with an extremely easy, very fun experience because it's extremely beautiful to express yourself in your own words. So people are extremely engaged, they feel trusted. So that's a a big plus. Secondly, in the second round, they learn from what others say. So there's a lot of learning going on, and they actually are willing to change their mind. One of the data points I want to share with you that more than half of the scores given in the second round that are positive are given for contributions that are the opposite from what people said themselves in the first round. So again, just to be sure about the learning that's taking place, what collective really means, confirmative bias is killed. People are not looking to get confirmation in the second round. They're not looking for opinions that look alike and then score positively. Oh, I find myself so great. People aren't doing that. People are extremely open for looking for things that are different than theirs. And they express a positive score. Most of their scores are positive and expressed for opinions that are not close to their opinion. And that's truly beautiful. And so we have a total absence of polarization. And that's very important in if you want to have dialogue, you want people to not find consensus and compromise, but emergence. You want people to emerge. You really want 1 + 1, and the outcome is 3, is something new, something different. And that's what happens when you create this cross-fertilization in the second round, or how Steve Jobs also envisioned that by wanting this extremely large office where people would mingle and increase the serendipity and for people to really meet each other unplanned and see what comes out. And it's true. So I would like to show you, and I would like to show you, I'll stop sharing this, then I will jump to our YouTube channel, and this part is public. In our YouTube channel, Circulytics, we have quite a bit of videos about collective intelligence, and you read there from also a scientist that explains why and how it increases intelligence by 20 to 60%. I'll show you a bit of our visualizations that we are working on. And let me see, I do have now a tiny matter with sharing. No, that's solved. So I will show you this. Let's see if we get some, some advertisements, and let's see. So just let me know, one of you, let me know if you can't see this. I assume you do. So what we see here is, okay, beautiful. So what we see here in the start, we visualize the data of a dialogue. The dots, the nodes, are the position of a contribution, qualitative opinion that people had. We put them in this field, and the lines that you see happening are either a positive +1, +2, or +3 that they attribute as a score in the second round to someone else's opinion in an anonymized process. And meanwhile, some of those opinions are actually capturing more and more and more scores. So the dots begin to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And instead of doing a topic modeling based on simply the data that people submitted in the first round, we get now the prioritizations. And it's magnificent to see that people are so extremely open in allocating positive scores to people to opinions that are simply not their own. So slowly we get some bigger dots. make a tiny jump. So this is what's going on in the second round. Look at how people topic model themselves. They know semantic. You don't need sentiments analysis run by an algorithm if you have the brain of the people. So now we know what topics are truly more important than others in a company. Not those thousands of. So an algorithm can't cluster the way that people do, because they add context, they add meaning, and they don't only analyze words, they add meaning. And so now the outcome is then, of course, for companies like Unilever, that they do this with thousands of people a number of times per year to solve matters and to engage and to get better insights. And now they have quick insights instead of looking at thousands of things or having an algorithm cluster a bit. They know the prioritization by the people. And I'll show you another one. So we're constantly playing with the data to see what other levels of information we can, because we see people changing their mind. And that's one thing, but it also depends, of course, to the extent that people see a variety of opinions in the second round. So we do measure, well, this looks like we're playing all day, but yes, we are playing all day with the data to find out actually what people truly mean. So this is the fun of people analytics, and the interesting thing is that we can slice and dice all the information according to departments also. But be aware, this is cross-department, cross-age categories, cross-skin color, cross anything. It's an absolute perfect diversity and inclusion process. 100% inclusion, 100% diversity, 100% psychological safety. It's only about the merits of the opinion, and cross-silo, cross-department, cross anything. People are appreciating what others say, and management can swiftly, in a real-time dashboard, turn insights into action. So that's what I wanted to share very much with you. And I would love to get some questions in the remaining minutes that I assume I have, Ross. Esther.
Yes, we have about 10 minutes for questions, so please.
Fire.
Yeah. Ask your questions.
I can ask you. Well, if you don't mind. As you just said, that I think we see a certain evolution of surveys and analytics, and you know how we present data and how we tell the data to decision makers, etc. How do you think your way or your company or the way you believe the best to present data to decision makers, and the way of giving them real material to make good decisions is different from others? Because a lot of providers, a lot of companies now, a lot of teams try to somehow give this food to the decision makers, and some of them achieve the goals. And let's not talk about the openness of the of those who are listening, because of course, but sometimes it's really about how we tell the story about the data, how we share it. So what do you think your specialties, or where you see where you saw it's working very well with clients or decision makers the way you do?
Yeah. So, okay. I think I understand your question. Also, the way we report.
Yes, kind of. Yeah.
So, of course, we love Excel and we love data, but we don't want to burden someone with that. They don't have time. So, with you need 50 minutes of time in our real-time dashboard to analyze the results. So it's all ready to digest. You can instantly export top 5, bottom 5. But we do so. That's the instant result is that all is ordered, sorted, and you instantly can export the top 5 and the bottom 5. You can edit that a bit and do some querying yourself. We have weighted word count, so we help a lot. But it's all automated and semi-automated. So actually, we don't hide our algorithms.
Okay.
We have these tooling to analyze further in a dashboard, and you can look into that, look into those results. It shouldn't be a black box. We also work with consultancy firms, also are letting go of survey tools as an intervention, and even sometimes workshops, especially now with Corona, and they want more inclusive workshops. So they use our instrument as an intervention tool, and consultancy firms usually do like to dive into the Excel and do all kinds of regressions and things themselves. But the direct customers usually spend 50, max 30 minutes. And having said that, we launched 7 new versions per year. It's you have to really speed up, keeping extremely innovated, but don't show off to the customer. So the complexity has to be on the back and not on the front. The dashboard, we force ourselves to make the dashboard easier, more visualization, more graphing, that they can easily digest it, and they simply click and they say, so these are the 5 topics, prioritized, etc., after the second round, that people support most. And they need to know what are the people against, what are they rejecting, and what are they embracing. Because if I know solutions, if I know support, I will make champion decisions. Because I simply ask the people, what's the key reason for margin deterioration in the last 6 weeks? Second question, what's the number 1 obstacle that caused it? Third question, what's your number 1 golden tip to change this? Ask that hundreds of people, thousands, 10,000s of people. Ask people, what's a hidden reason why people stay at this company that probably senior HR never heard of? What's a reason that you hear of that the CEO didn't even know why people consider leaving? People know it all. Their eyes and ears, just turn them into a big brain and keep that process for the employee ultra easy and light. Just click a link, share, they can click, they can score, they love it. We get an 8 on a 10-point scale already for 6 years now, from towards 1 million of employees. So they can't be that wrong. So we keep it simple for the employee, 2 beautiful rounds, very attractive, not too much gamification. Customers say your circle is very Spartan. I said, yes, exactly. We'll stay that way. There aren't people shining and laughing and things popping up and saying we don't need that. We simply say, you want to feel more? You want to review more? Click here, scroll further. And people are simply scrolling, scoring, tagging words, adding notes, why, and they continue, and they continue, and they continue, and they continue. So it's in the content. what makes it attractive for them, and keep it ultra simple for the user that logs in, that can instantly export outcomes. And again, the top 5 and the bottom 5, but last January, we introduced something new. And of course, we all know Copernicus, we know Galileo, but they had even a predecessor, some in Egypt, some 2,000-3,000 years ago. And so some things are discovered by a few people only, and they're hidden in the data. So we are looking now for anomalies. We're looking for strange things in the data. For example, that people click in the second round, they click, I give this a +3. Oh, no, well, wait a bit, -3. What are the contributions? Where a lot of people are constantly changing their mind and switching between scores. What are the contributions that have a lot of -3 and +2, -3 and -2, and a lot of +3 and +2? Actually, high variance by a lot of people. Probably you won't see that in the top 5, but there's some controversy going on. So we start now to not only the clustering and the topic modeling and the weighted topic modeling we did, and now we are looking for anomalies, strange things that no one sees in the data. Because we see the thinking behavior, we see how the brain operates. If I want to cross the street, I ask my brain a question, can I cross the street? And within seconds, the machinery goes. So for companies, we say in 2 rounds, in a number of days, the machinery works and out pops one strong answer. So you have to show only simple, top scoring things. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions? I have also one question. What type of data do you need to do such type of analysis?
What do you mean?
I mean, what organization should provide to you for this type of analysis?
What type of customers we service with this?
Yeah.
HR that really want to substitute old school employee engagement surveys. That's one. Second is HR that wants to follow up, what I showed you in the presentation. They don't know the why behind numbers, so they can't make clear decisions. So they deep dive with our employee dialogues as a follow-up after surveys. Third is management that uses it to capture a higher level of intelligence faster from a bigger group. So for fast decision making, companies that are in a very VUCA changing dynamic environment that need to know now. So they have an extremely fast way of diving deeper. We do have also a number of customers in government branch and even for citizen voice.
Thank you, Maurik, very much for coming and for presenting at our conference. It was really a pleasure hosting you.
Likewise. Thank you very much.
Thanks.